I want to get better at competitive Pokemon, so I decided to join the global challenge that was hosted at the beginning of this year. Every player was given 15 battles a day for 3 days, where any unused battles rolled over to the next day. Each battle was closed team sheets and a best of 1 in the Regulation F format, and teams had to be logged in the day before the competition started on February 2nd. There were 2 big regionals before the global challenge that were also in the Regulation F format, Charlotte and Liverpool. While these were not the first regionals to be in the Regulation F format, they are significant because they were both won by the same team. This team first took the stage in Charlotte and was piloted by none other than Wolf Glick, who only lost 1 round the entire tournament. The very next week, Antonio Sanchez used the team to go 11-3 and win the Liverpool regional, which showed how strong of a team it was and that it can be piloted by 2 different trainers and win regional tournaments in different continents. I expected to see a lot of this team within the global challenge, maybe with slight variation. With the tournament being a best of 1, I was also predicting some shenanigans with items, archetypes, and terratypes from my opponents. The main item I was worried about was a Choice Scarf being on an offensive Pokemon that would catch me off guard and sweep my entire team. Random defensive or offensive terratypes might be less common, but could still swing the match in my opponent's favor. And since I was predicting on seeing Wolf Glick's team, I did not prepare as heavily for gimmicks like Terra Normal Explosion or the plethora of traps that Smeargle can lay. Earlier to Regulation F, I fell in love with Xianpao and Entei. With Choice Band on Entei and the Sword of Ruin drop from Xianpao, Entei is able to dish out massive damage. Plus, with Terra Normal, Entei is able to take a lot of knockouts with extreme speed. Xianpao also has priority with Sucker Punch, and Ice Spinner is able to deal with Psychic Terrain and has better accuracy than Icicle Crash. Scizor and Ogerpon were the next 2 I added to the team. Steel and Bug are really good offensive types with Pokemon like Fluttermane and Farigiraf running rampant. With Scizor's high base attack and ability Technician, Bullet Punch and Bug Bite can get one-hit knockouts with either a boost from Swords Dance or Helping Hand, or with a Sword of Ruin defense drop. Ogerpon is able to provide the Helping Hand support, and Follow Me lets Scizor set up with Swords Dance. I then added Tornadus for Tailwind support, with Rain Dance to help Bleakwind's accuracy and counter any Sun Team shenanigans. I chose Taunt to help stop slower Tailwind users or Trick Room users that are not protected by Psychic Terrain or Farigiraf. Fluttermane was the last addition because if you can't beat him, join him. It doesn't hurt to have one of the best special attackers in the game. Check the description for the Pokepaste for this team, but be warned, it's not that great. I started early in the morning on day 1, playing all 15 of my matches live on Twitch. Shout out! I was surprised to see that I did not match up at all against Wolf's team, but I did see a lot of common good mons that I've seen high usage in tournaments, such as Fluttermane, Incineroar, Rillaboom, and both forms of Urshifu. There were a fair share of the new Paradox Pokemon, mainly Raging Bolt, but some Walking Wake and Gouging Fire. I did come across a few meme teams, as well as Dondozo Tatsugiri is still making a case in Regulation F, just with different support Pokemon. I went 6-9 on the day, which really should have been 7-8, but one of my opponents disconnected when I was about to win and the game did not count. Game Freak really needs to fix this for online matches. While this wasn't the best outcome for day 1 since I was at a 1450 rating and above 10,000 for my ranking, I still had some takeaways from the matches. I found that I was able to play well against meme and gimmick teams, with most of my wins coming from those. Once I got to the teams of good mons, I struggled. I would recognize my win condition for the match, but I would play too fast and end up making mistakes and would lose my win condition, which would be a precursor to losing the game. Heading into day 2, I needed to slow down my play, make sure to pivot my game board into more favorable matchups, and to trust my gut. Day 2 was a bit of a wash. I won 2 matches and lost 2 matches to bring myself right back to where I ended day 1 at 1450. Unfortunately, I was not in the best headspace for the day, so I decided to put all of my eggs into the day 3 basket and hope I was able to make up the losing record I currently had, being at 11-8 overall. I did none of the 3 things I told myself I needed to do at the end of day 1, and it was reflecting in my play. I woke up ready to go on day 3 and felt fantastic, but quickly lost my confidence when I started my first 4 matches at 2-2, seeing a repeat of day 2. Battling from home was fantastic here since I was able to step away for a bit and take a breath, which is exactly what I needed. I won the next 5 matches I played, going up against both gimmick and meta teams. I took the full time in team preview, which set me up well in the games, giving me favorable matchups for leads. I made sure to conserve my win conditions and pivot when needed, as well as to trust my gut. After my 5th win, I was finally back above 1500 at a rating of 1530, my record being 15 wins and 13 losses. I decided to step away for a bit so I could not get tilted with a loss and ended up not being able to play another match due to internet issues which locked in my record. When I logged on after the event had ended, my rating did go up 1 point to 1531 and my ranking was finalized at 5809. Overall, I am super pleased with this placement, especially with the 7-2 record I had on day 3 to bring me above the 1500 rating. I played in previous global challenges during Sword and Shield where I had all losing records and would be below the 1500 rating. So finally having a winning record in a global challenge was quite validating and gets my hopes up for future challenges and tournaments. Looking back, my team was quite hyper offensive and did not have a lot of options for defensive pivoting. Even in games that I was able to pivot well, I was still having to sacrifice Pokemon, usually forcing me to play from behind in a 3v4 or 2v4 situation. I think adding Protect to Tornadus in place of either Rain Dance or Taunt would have helped, since I found the times I did use Rain Dance or Taunt were very niche. Bringing in a more defensive Pokemon like Rillaboom, Incineroar, or Farigiraf would have helped as well, and to be honest, any one of them could have replaced Scizor. Even though I thought Scizor was a great counter to some of the Pokemon in the meta, it is outclassed and I found myself opting out of using it in quite a few matches. I also found myself wanting a Grass attack on Ogerpon more often than not, which replacing Helping Hand with either Horn Leech or Wood Hammer would be another reason to drop Scizor, and having the Grass move would have put me in a favorable position in quite a few of my losses. But in order to grow as a player, you need to be able to dissect your wins and learn from your losses, and I feel much more prepared for the next global challenge. And who knows, maybe you'll see me grace one of the streamed games in the next regional? Like and subscribe to see.